What up, everyone? So, we've got a box. We haven't got one in a few days, but we got Bam Box, or the Bam Box, however you want to call it. This is their second official box, the second month they've been in business. So I was pretty pleased with their box last month, not just because I got an incentive, but because they had a genuinely good box. They had things that you don't commonly see in boxes, things that weren't really over generic, things that they actually sought out, which I thought was cool. And they had artwork, which was signed and numbered, which I really loved. I was a huge fan of that. So I hope we see more of the same good things we saw last month. And I also hope they took some of my advice, because I've been in contact with them and I gave them some tips. So I hope to see those things in here. But only one way to find out. So let's open this beast up and see what we got. Alrighty. So first, okay, we got a little pamphlet. Alright, okay, this shows the stuff, I'm not going to do that. But that was something I suggested. They needed a card or a pamphlet or something to describe everything in the box. Because that's one thing they did not have last month, which I was, I wouldn't say disappointed about, but I was surprised about. I'm surprised they didn't, because I was legitimately curious about a lot of the things, in particular the artwork, because they didn't say his name. And I eventually learned his name, and I put it in the description of the last video, so that was cool. Alright, looks like we got one-up card. Let's see what it says. You have received a one-up card. This means you have an upgraded item in your box. One of the items in your box has been replaced with an upgrade. Okay, cool. So that's somewhat like an incentive. For those of you who don't know, who didn't watch the first unboxing, they said 1 out of 10 boxes receives an autographed item. That's kind of their thing, that's kind of their incentive, because this company also runs an autograph auction website. And this, I think, is just an incentive. I'm sure they had some extra items that were upgradable, so they just put that in as incentives for random people. That's cool. So I like that they do incentives, and I like that the odds of getting them are very good. Alright, so again, let's take a look at the first item. So first, it looks like we got a Deadpool figure. And this is from NECA, this is Body Knockers. So it's I'm not sure how similar that is to a bobblehead, because I'm sure the word knocker gives it away, but let's see on the back. It says, place in direct sunlight, press the button on the side, wait 30 seconds, and things get rocking. Okay, so his body moves around. I've seen things like this. Receptionists always have things like this. Not necessarily Deadpool, but they have items where it's like solar powered, and it's a little, almost like a hula girl, where it does like a small motion continuously throughout the day. And I'm assuming his body moves back and forth. Yeah, you can see on the back, his body moves back and forth, and that's what he does. So that's cool. And he looks like a nice figure. You can see he's actually like decently sculpted in detail. He looks like kind of a rubbery plastic texture, but he's got a good paint job, a good sculpt. He's proportionate, and he's making a cool double finger guns. So that's cool. So no batteries needed, which is nice. Focus. No batteries needed, which is nice. That's a cool item. Something I've never seen before, which is rare because I have a lot of shit. So, awesome. I like that. And keeping in theme with the Deadpool of the month of February, everyone's doing Deadpool, which is fine. I don't mind. As long as I don't get duplicates, I never care if there's a theme. And so far in the month of February, I haven't gotten any, which is very surprising considering so many people are doing the Deadpool theme. But that's cool that they keep that interesting. Alrighty, got a Hot Wheels car. Box is a little bent up. That's okay. I think I can bend it back. Box got a little damage. I think that's what it said on the car. Yeah. It said a Star Wars The Inquisitor Hot Wheels collectible. So it says this is the upgraded item. Now I'm curious to see what the original item was. I'm assuming that'll be in the pamphlet. But yeah, we got a Star Wars car. So this is the upgraded item. I'm assuming this has some collectability to it. Maybe it's slightly rare. I'm not totally sure. I've never personally collected Hot Wheels, but I've always been a fan of them. They always seem cool, so cool. Hot Wheels, Star Wars, that'll do. Let's see what else we got. Looks like we got a Japanese samurai saber stainless steel blade. So it looks like a tiny replica of a little samurai sword. So let's take a look at that. I'll pull it out, take a better look. So it comes with a nice little base, little stand, and yeah, it's a tiny little sword. It's actually sharp. That's cool. I'm assuming this is supposed to be some kind of letter opener or something like that, or maybe it's just a little knife. But that's cool. I could legitimately use this to open my boxes because it's actually pretty sharp. That's cool. Tiny little samurai sword. That's kind of fun. I think I'm going to open my boxes with this from now on because it's actually very detailed. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. It's very tiny though, but if you can see it, if it'll focus well enough, you can see that it actually is very detailed. Come on, camera. Do it. Oh my gosh. Oh, this thing takes forever to focus. Can we... There we go. So yeah, you can see it actually has a lot of detail on the handle. It actually is made of metal. It's got the little rope on there, just like a samurai would tie to his belt. And then it also has a nice little stand here. So comes with a nice stand if you want to just put it on display, which is very cool. That's, again, something I've never seen. That's very interesting, and that's very cool. I'm not sure if this box had a theme. I'm sure it did. I'm sure the booklet will say that. I'll have to check into that. Bubble wrap. Got a bracelet. Oh, cool. So we got a nice Deadpool bracelet, one of the little rubber wristbands. And this is actually branded. So this is from Marvel. It's just got the little logo on there. It's a nice skinny one. Yeah, so you can see on the inside it is actually branded. It says Marvel on the inside. So cool. Nice branded bracelet. That works. Alright, looks like we got a few more things in here. Got a comic book. Oh, okay, this is signed. Is this one of the incentives, or I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. So this is signed, I'm not sure by who. This is Night Quest Crusade Batman number 502. And then it has a little certificate on the back, so I'm guessing this is one of the signed things. Last time, it had a little paper on top saying that you got a signed item. This time it did not, so let me read the back. Certificate of authenticity. The bandbox has obtained this item personally or through a trusted partner in the industry and is guaranteed to be authentic. And it says Adam MacArthur, CEO Bandbox. But again, the card doesn't say who it's signed by. So I will have to do some research on that and figure out exactly what that is and exactly who that is, because I'm very interested now. But that's cool. I always like stuff like that. That'll work. And we still got more items in here. So we got artwork. And this, I'm guessing everyone got this. This is another signed and numbered piece of artwork. And things, the tips I said, they didn't go with the normal poster thing. Last month they had a rolled up poster, which is fine because it was good cardstock, it was good quality, and it was thick paper. But still, I'm never a fan of things being rolled, because once they're rolled and stuck that way, it's hard to unroll them, even if you frame them. And most people aren't going to pay to get them professionally framed, and most people don't know how to professionally frame their own stuff, so it's difficult to just put on display, because a lot of people just want to put it on the wall and just be done with it. So I like it when they do things like this, like the Nerd Block Company originally started doing, like Comic-Con Box started doing. Lays flat in the box, and it's just like good to go piece of paper like this. And again, certificate of authenticity on the back, just so you know it's actually signed and numbered. And it looks like the name says Nathan Call, if I'm not mistaken. And this is 24 out of 200, so it's numbered. And this looks like a crossover between some superheroes and villains and what looks like Boba Fett. So we got Deathstroke, we got Boba Fett in there, Bane, Elektra, and Deadpool, and they're all wearing like similar Boba Fett masks. So that's really cool. This artwork seems nicely done, seems good in quality. It arrived in good quality. It's not bent up or anything like that. And it's signed and it's numbered. And to this day, I'm still shocked that the Bandbox is the first people to do this. Now, I know Comic-Con Box did this kinda. They had incentives where the artwork they had in there would be, a few of them would be signed, which is cool. I like that. But this is the first box I've seen where the print is numbered, which gives value to the print. That's where the value comes from. As an artist, that's what I've been trying to explain to people. A print doesn't have any value unless it is a limited edition. Because if it's not limited edition, it's literally just a piece of paper with a picture. Anyone can print that out. Anyone can do that. Until it has a limited edition, it technically doesn't have any value. And then having it signed on top of that, which usually goes hand in hand. If something's numbered, something's usually signed with it as well, because if the artist took the time to number it, they're right there, they might as well sign it. So usually those two are hand in hand. But that's really cool. And no matter what it is, I don't care what the artwork is, as long as it's signed and numbered, it just makes it personal, gives it value, and it shows it's from the artist. They did, however, put Bandbox exclusive in the corner, which I'm not really a fan of. They're really going in the right direction with the art, getting it signed and numbered. Focusing here, come on. So they're going in the right direction, but putting their logo on the front, I'm not a big fan of, because it is artwork, and most people agree they don't like logos on the front. And this is the problem we had with Comic-Con box. They did the same thing. They plastered their logo right on the front, and it really pissed people off. And they eventually removed it because so many people complained about it. So I would personally steer clear of that in the future. If you're going to put artwork out there, don't put the logo right on the front. Put it on the back, put it somewhere, but just not right on the front, because then it interferes with the artwork and then it throws off the whole scheme of it. So that's just my thoughts on that. Sorry I rambled on a while about that, but I like artwork. I'm a big fan, so I like to talk about it. Oh. And let's see, it looks like we got one more item in here, and it looks like a cardboard cutout of Deathstroke. So it looks like a very small cardboard cutout. And you can see from the back, you just pop him right out, and he's got a little stand. So usually cardboard cutouts are life-size. That's typically how it is. This is just a smaller version of it, and that's cool. I think Deathstroke is a cool character, and it's very fitting with Deadpool because they're technically the same character. For those of you who don't know, Deadpool is an imitation, a joke on Deathstroke. That's where they get it from. That's where the name comes from. Slade Wilson, Wade Wilson. That's where Deadpool was originated from, to be a joke on Deathstroke. So that's where, what's his name, Rob Liefeld, however you pronounce it, that's where he got the idea from. He didn't really come up with it on his own. He just kind of copied a character. So it worked out. I guess Deadpool's very popular now, but that's really cool. This is a nice cardboard cutout, and it'll be good on display. Alright, so that was all the items in the box, and I'm happy they came with a pamphlet, so I'll actually have information on it. So we're going to take a short break. I'm going to go through this stuff, do a little bit of research, figure out some value, then we'll come back, give it some value, and give this box a rating. See you soon. Alright, we are back. Let's talk about some value on this box and give it a rating. So, I found out there was a theme on this box, and I actually remember hearing about it. The theme is Mercs. Obviously, it has Boba Fett, Deathstroke, and Deadpool, so obviously that's the theme. Very popular theme of the month of February, but it said it on the pamphlet, which I'm glad they put in there, so that's good. The first item, the Deadpool Body Knocker. So, I really like this. I think it's a cool item. I think it looks really cool. Even if you don't put it in the sun and make it move around, I still think it's a cool figure. I like the design of it. I think it genuinely looks cool. And it's different. It's not something we've really seen before. It's not a pop figure. It's not a wacky wobbler or something like that. It's something different. And I'm a big fan of NECA, actually. We were just talking about this on Geek Talk. NECA is a really cool company. They have a ton of stuff. They've been around a long time. They're not as well known as like Funko or Kid Robot or these other companies, but they've been around a long time, and they really do make awesome products. Not all like this, but they make statues, they make collectibles, they make action figures. They really have, and they have some really cool stuff coming in the future, which I saw from Comic-Con. So it's a good company, and it's a good product, and it's something different and interesting. Anyway, the value on this is like $18 to $20, which is higher than I thought, which is kind of, I wouldn't say surprising, but I wouldn't have known how much something like this cost. I've never had something like this specifically, where it's like a solar-powered moving item, but you know, I guess that's what something like that would cost. And considering it's from NECA, that's actually pretty cheap. NECA, it makes very nice quality stuff, so it's rare to find things that are going to be like super cheap in value from that company. So at the end of the day, it's not that surprising that it's valued that much, but it's hard to value things that you don't really know that much about, and I haven't seen anything like this, which I think is a good thing. When it comes to boxes these days, I really like to see something different and interesting, because it's so rare to see different things from boxes other than just like pops and blind boxes and t-shirts. So it's good that they're kind of breaking the mold a little bit. Then, our little wristband. So this is branded from a company called Visionary, and it's actually Marvel branded too. So these little wristbands usually come in a pack of 4, because these are skinnier than the normal ones. Usually you get the fat ones. These are skinny, and these come in a pack of 4 for about like $10 or $12. So one of them by themselves, I'm going to guess like 3 or 4. They're not technically ever sold by themselves, so it's kind of hard to say, but I think 3 or 4 would be reasonable for like one rubber wristband. I think that's a reasonable price. Next, the Star Wars card, which was an upgraded item from what it said on the card, but the actual item that everyone got, if you didn't get the upgraded item, was this, a Boba Fett koozie. So I'm going to have to value based on the koozie, because I got to value it based on what everyone gets, not just what I get. So a koozie in general would be like $3 to $5 for just a koozie by itself. But the funny thing is, the upgraded item, value-wise, really not much different. This was technically an upgraded item, which is cool. I'm glad to have it. But value-wise, really not much different. Like $1 or $2 more value-wise for this. So happy to have this, but luckily enough, the value is pretty much the same. So still around 3 to 5 on that. Then, our Deathstroke standee. So a little cardboard cutout that stands on its own. And I think it's a nice little display piece. I think it looks cool like this, if you don't want to take it out of the plastic. So this is actually going to go for like $7 or $8. I think this is branded by some company. Did it say? It just says from DC Comics. So this is actually branded from DC, which is cool. I like that. And yeah, this is like $7 or $8 because this is like a collectible thing. I'm not sure how popular these are. I've never seen them before, but I think it's cool. Cool item. So $7 or $8 on that. Then, our little samurai sword. So I was right, it is a letter opener. I'm surprised it didn't say that on the packaging. But yeah, it's definitely a letter opener. But I think it's cool. Little samurai sword. I'll use that to open up my boxes and maybe cut some bitches up. You never know. Someone tries to break in my house. So, this is going to be about $7 or $8 too. It's very nice in quality. I like it. It's got nice detail. It's got some metal parts to it. And it is actually sharp. Unlike most letter openers, which are very dull, it's actually very sharp, so it'll be useful to cut things open and cut things up. So $7 or $8 on that. Next, our print. So this is from Nathan Call, and I like that they added a certificate of authenticity. That's something that I mentioned last time too that I like that companies did. You know, it doesn't make a big difference because certificate of authenticities, something to note about them, they don't really mean too much. So it's only as valuable as the person giving it. It's almost like a promise, basically. So it's like a promise between your best friend and a promise between a stranger. They're both promises, but you would most likely believe one person versus the other. That's kind of the same thing for certificates of authenticity. Anyone can make a certificate of authenticity. I can sign a random piece of paper, give you a certificate of authenticity, and it'll be a done deal. That doesn't mean anything. So, at the end of the day, certificates of authenticity don't add any value to it, but it's just something that's nice to have. It's just like something reassuring. It doesn't make a big difference in value or anything like that, but it's always good. I like to see them from companies, from boxes, for signatures, for artwork. It's just something that everyone does, and it's just very comforting to have because it's just a reminder that, like, hey, someone checked on this and it is legitimate, so it is good to have, whether or not, I'm not saying this isn't real, I believe in that this is real, but in any case, even if something's not real, it's just always good to have that. It helps when you're selling things to have certificates, it just makes it look nicer all around. So I like that they took the effort to put one in there. I really appreciate that, and I think other people do too. So anyway, on to the artwork. This is by someone, Nathan Call. He goes by Nate Call. He's just an illustrator. He's a freelance illustrator. But he has a lot of artwork similar to this. Like a lot of nerdy, geeky stuff that he does. So value-wise on this, it gets pretty tricky to value these specifically. He sells prints on his website for $12. But he doesn't number, I don't know if he signs them or not, I didn't really say. But he doesn't number them. He says they're made to order. So those don't have a limited run. And I'm guessing they don't have any sort of numbering system because there's no limit to how many you can order or how many you can get. So the fact that this is numbered increases the value. The fact that this is signed increases the value. By how much? That's where it gets tough to say. So value-wise, on the low end, I'm going to value it at 12 because that's how much it would cost to get a print from him, regardless of signed and numbered and certificates of authenticity. So with all that in place, I'm going to give a high value. I'm going to say like 20. It's extremely hard to value. It always depends on the person and the artwork and things like that. It could be way more. It's kind of worth whatever he'd be willing to charge for his own signature. I can't see it going like an astronomical amount. Like I said in the last video, I've seen signed and numbered prints very commonly go for like $30 to $40. But for considering this is from the box, they did put their logo on it, so that does change the value a little bit because now there's a logo on it. So I'm going to give it a value of on the low end 12 and on the high end 20. So, and again, don't hold me to those numbers. I'm just trying my best to give it value based on me being an artist, like me making prints and selling my stuff. Kind of trying to base it off things like that. Size, quality, paper, all those things are factored into it, but I'm going to go 12 to 20. But just know that it could easily be worth more than that, depending on where his career goes, blah, 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 all those things. But regardless of value, I do really appreciate that they do things that are signed and numbered. It means a lot to me. I don't know if it means as much to you guys, but I really appreciate that. That gives not only value to this artwork, but sentimental value to this artwork. Because the artist actually held this in their hand, took the time to sign a number. That makes it special, no matter how much it's worth. I think that that's a cool thing, and I really appreciate that. So I like that they do that. But in the future, I would advise them not to put their logo right on the front, because that devalues the artwork, and that just kind of makes it seem a little low class. Like, you're never going to go into an art gallery and the gallery's going to have their logo printed on the front of the artwork. Like, you're just never going to see it. That's not something that's done in the art community, so I would definitely always advise, not just for this box, any box, advise against them putting logos on the artwork. So, just a side note. Next, and the last item. This is the signed comic book. Now, I actually thought this was an incentive. I thought I had won another 1 out of 10 signed item. But oddly enough, it's not. Everyone got this because it was in the pamphlet. This is actually a signed comic that everyone that got the box got, along with the certificate of authenticity, which is also really great. So the guy's name is Mike Manley, and he's an artist illustrator. He did the cover, I'm assuming. Something like that. But he's an illustrator for Batman. I'm assuming he did some work in this, and he's done work for DC Comics. So that's really cool. Anytime you get a comic with like signed from the artist or anyone, that's really awesome. This issue in particular is worth pretty much nothing. It's a random issue, but the fact that it's signed is really cool. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't give it a ton of value. So Mike Manley is not super well known in the art world, or even the comic book world. He's done a lot of stuff, but he hasn't been like super notable. So unfortunately, it doesn't give it a ton of value. The value on this is only going to be about $10 or $12, which is unfortunate. But either way, I think it's still really awesome. I think it's cool to get signed stuff because that makes it special. Now this is a special item. Now, obviously this is a cool comic, but now it's not just a comic that's just going to go on a shelf. Now this is actually a signed comic book, and is actually cool and sentimental and a little bit valuable. So I think it's really cool that they take the time to do that. And yeah, I think that's incredibly awesome, because so many boxes put comics in there, and they have exclusive ones, but I don't think I've ever gotten a box where I've gotten a signed comic or signed artwork or numbered artwork. That's something that no other box has done, and that's really cool. So that was all the items in the box. So, that being said, on the low end our value is $60, and on the high end about $77, which is good because this box costs right about $30. So even on the low end you got pretty much double your value, and on the high end a little bit more than that. So I think that's quite fantastic. And I like that they don't give generic stuff. Pop figures are cool, mystery minis are cool and all, but not all the time. We just definitely get tired of seeing them every once in a while. Same with t-shirts. T-shirts are cool. I got about 10 billion of them. Off to the side here I got racks and racks and racks of t-shirts. Not a lot of them just from boxes. They're fine. Nothing wrong with t-shirts, but it's just nice to see something that's a little bit change of pace. And it's nice to see that they're actually taking the time to contact artists, to get them to sign a number, to get these comic books signed. Obviously, they're a little bit better at it than most box companies are, because they do own a company that auctions off signed artwork. So I'm guessing they're way better at this than any other box company. But that's fine, because I think that's really cool. I love that they do that. And I like that we saw new and interesting items. And I like that they included the pamphlet. So I like that they're listening to their customers. They're listening to people that buy this product and taking advice and implementing it. Even within from 1 month to the next, they're already taking those suggestions and implementing them into the box. So I think that's quite cool. Now, something to note about this company that I'm sure a lot of people are concerned about, me being one of them, is this scalable? Is this company scalable? Is it possible for them to become huge? We just talked about this in our Geek Talk episode. Bobo's, big old box of stuff, they only take a certain amount of orders per month. And they've actually said in many statements they don't want to blow up and be huge, because then they can't carry on their company. They can't make custom boxes if they're getting 500,000 orders in every month like Loot Crate. They just can't do it. Now I'm curious to see what this company is going to do. If they do get popular, which I can see that happening, because they really did create a great box their first 2 months, and I'm excited to see what they have next month. And I'm excited to see if I get another incentive signed item. That's so awesome. But is it scalable to the point where they're still going to put in signed comic books? They're still going to have signed and numbered artwork every month, even if the company blows up? Or Is the company only going to take a certain amount of orders each month, like Bobo's, like F-Box, like some of the harder to get boxes? Are they only going to take a certain amount? But only time will tell. Either way, there's no right or wrong answer. It's not good or bad either way, but I'm just interested to see which direction this company will go, because as far as I can tell, I can definitely see this company getting very popular very quick if they keep making boxes like this. I'm very pleased with it. So after that long ramble, all that being said, I'm going to give this box a 7.75. I was very tempted to give it an 8 or maybe even a little higher, but I'm curious to see what you guys think first. I'm very close to giving it a higher rating, but I feel like I'm a little excited about this box because it's things that I really like. Like, I love signatures, I love artwork, I love signed and numbered prints. That's something I like, so if it were up to me, I would have given it a higher score, but I want to hear what you guys thought about it. Maybe those things aren't as important to you. Maybe you don't care about signed artwork. Maybe you don't care about particular signatures. I want to hear your guys' opinion on it first, and then we'll revisit this in the monthly review and possibly have it with a higher score, depending on what you guys thought. Because at the end of the day, these ratings are about you guys, not about me. So I'm worried that I'm putting too much of my own interest in this rating, so that's why I gave it a little bit lower until I hear from you guys. But anyway, this has been the BAM box, and we got a 7.75 in the box. I'm very pleased with it. I liked all the items, and I'm happy that we're seeing different stuff and they're doing things that no other company has done before. That's very cool. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let's talk about it. Other than that, we'll see this box in the monthly review. Thank you all for watching. Love you all. Peace.